Like, I'm determined to find what it is that I know I need, and this is not it. So if I would stay in this, then that would be like giving up.
So sheer determination to self, not sheer determination to the relationship?
Oh, correct. I think everything that I said is wrapped up into that.
I'm sure you do.
Now we're getting real comfortable. Now we're getting real comfortable here.
Now it's getting to get good.
Let the record show I hate this.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I didn't tell you we were doing this.
But
because
not
I know
only
you hate it.
didn't change the fact that I knew this was happening.
Yeah, but it changed how long you hated it. Well, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. I tried to sneak it up on you, and then you pushed it back a day. I was just going to have you come in here and just drop it on you.
Yeah, because that makes the person feel more comfortable.
Look, I'm just trying to make it work. Because I know you need to do something like this. And I know people have told us to do something like this. And then you fight me on it because you hate to be the center of attention and on camera and the focus and stuff.
And you're just trying to get me warmed up here.
No, I'm actually staying here for purpose too, you know? I am trying to get you warmed up. But we're just going to do this. We're just going to have a conversation and, you know, I'll try to avoid podcast facilitator voice that I know you hate.
Yes.
And we'll just talk through stuff. And, you know, the idea is not necessarily to be like an hour or anything. It's just to pick a subject, talk about it, see where it goes. So.
And I see there's a bold questions there, which you have not.
Yeah. I have not let you see any of it, which I know you hate even more. But I think that'll make it feel, for you, a little more conversational and authentic. There's no prep in it. It's just what it is. And we just talk and be what we would be, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I did forget to start my clock down here. So I'm going to start a clock just so I know we aren't lingering on too much.
I choose them?
You choose it.
Okay.
Because unless we move fast through all of them, we could just do one and be done.
I can't seem to find anybody. What is it about me?
Yeah, does that make sense?
These are dating questions.
So these are dating
or
questions.
Just relationship questions.
I mean, I guess they could be relationship questions. I really meant for it to be like dating questions. So if somebody's saying, you know, asking that question, like, what is it about me? I can't seem to find anybody. That was the intent of the question, the function of the question initially.
Okay, so you want to answer this first one?
No, you want to answer. That's the reason we're doing this. You're answering. This is your practice.
Anybody who's watching, this is what we're really like.
So you answer.
Okay, so the question was, I can't seem to find anybody. What is it about me? My response to that would be like, what if it's like nothing major about you? We seem to think sometimes like that, like I'm the common denominator, so it's gotta be me. What's wrong with me? Why does no one like want to choose me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just owning your own confidence and not trying to like find someone to choose you, but find someone that you want to choose. And paying more attention to the other person as opposed to like making yourself like you are liked or you are chosen or you know, are picked.
Did you ever feel that way? Because I know, especially growing up, like I felt like that. That why doesn't anybody like me? Because I kind of felt like odd duckish growing up compared to the people around me. And so when everybody else would have somebody, which is crazy because when I think about growing up and the number of, I guess, girl space friends, not necessarily girlfriends, but female friends who did have an interest in me or did like me that I never knew about or didn't think about, or, you know, you're just in a bunch of headspace area.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if some of that carries over as people become adults and you're kind of still in that same headspace where you're like thinking about, you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I think I felt that way as an adult too, like getting married later on in life. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep finding like these people that like act like they like want to be with me, but then don't and find something like wrong with me?
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally said like, I am the common denominator. Like it has to be me. I'm the common denominator.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then once I switched my perspective on that, and I've told you this before, like if I'm meant to be single, I'm just going to learn to be the happiest damn single person that I've ever met and start just focusing on me and what I liked and what I wanted to do and those things. And then we met.
Right.
4 or 5 months after that, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I know I went through a similar growth process internally, where it was like that thing, because you got married later in life. I got married early. You know this. I got married early, but that marriage was just, it was a struggle.
Mhm.
And because it was a struggle, there was that thing towards the end of it where it's like, no, I do deserve more. I do deserve better. There is somebody who loves me the way I am, and blah, blah, blah. But I don't, how long did it take you? I know for me, it took about, I spent a good year or so, probably a year plus, just under the like, no, I'm sexy. No, people gonna love me. Like, no, I deserve better, man. I'm a fine human being. No,
Yeah.
it was like that in my mind too. It was like, I'm sexy. That shit,
Well aware. Well aware.
Yeah, now you get that side of it. So I know for me, it was a year plus of going through that, like, how do you say it? Like rebuilding, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to say reinvigorating. There's a word I can't figure out, but doing that
Rewriting.
Yeah, that's it. Like rewriting what my message was to myself in order to be able to accept something that was better, be able to accept you,
Yeah. So I find that there's this phenomenon that happened repeatedly in my life, and I've seen it over and over in clients that I work with now, is that like you have like this like string of people.
Yeah.
And then they all sort of like show up at the same, like resurface at the same time. And you're like, what is going on? Like they're all resurfacing at the same time. And I could like predict it. It happened over and over and over. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember at the bottom of the year before we met, that I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. When they were all like resurfacing, because when one did, then I would know that like the other ones were going to also.
And were they all had the same issue, or they all just were the same energy, or what?
No, it's just that like we had separated our lives, we had gone on, and then they would check in.
Gotcha.
How are you?
Okay.
Do you want to grab a meal? No, But I got to that point where I could say like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to keep repeating this same pattern.
Mm.
Then, so that was like the bottom of the year before we met, like around the holidays.
Yeah.
And so like from that time to when we met in March. Okay, so I was thinking May, like April, May, but it was
I guess
March and April.
first conversation was March 21st.
Yeah.
I know you don't know. I know you don't know. Yes, first conversation was March 21st.
Yes. And then we met in person shortly after that.
Correct.
Yeah, so mine was like from then to like from that, the holidays, definitely at the top of the year until we met. But I wasn't looking at that time either. I was just like, no, I'm focusing on me. So I wasn't on going on any dates. I wasn't on any of the apps, anything like that. And in March, I just sort of like felt this thing like, maybe I should try them again, but do them differently. Yeah. And like, we're like, no, I'm not like wasting my time or energy, and I'm not going to waste anybody else's time or energy, but I don't think that this is it. And then we met.
Yeah.
Shortly after that. But I had also like was not in a previous marriage or previous like long-term relationship like that. So I probably like didn't need that.
Because I had to undo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to undo and rewrite, because I had to.
In a more compressed time, probably.
In a more compressed time, and a way more stressful type of time frame. And then you had the fact that you had the stuff. So let's say you had 3 or 4 months of things you had to just unlearn. I had that kind of like stamped in or encoded in even more, because it was encoded in it was there before the marriage, and then you go into the marriage, which kind of just like stomps it down,
Yeah.
buries it even further. So then you have so much more kind of like to dig out of and unearth and flip over, and then after you do that, then you get to rewrite everything.
Also, I could focus solely on myself because I was single and didn't have any kids.
Good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could just do me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to worry about. I'd have other responsibilities like you had.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were young at that point.
Mm-hmm.
They were very young, so they weren't Not that I've been like, y'all go do your own thing, because not even that way now when they're older. But I wouldn't be like, look here, 1-year-old, you got to figure out life and do my own thing. So yeah, they were at that point, they were dependent on it.
The short answer to like what's Like, why can't I find someone? What is wrong with me? Maybe you just need to like shift what you're focusing on.
To yourself.
Yeah, to yourself, and like getting like very specific about like what is that you like. Because if you're trying to make yourself into something you think other people are like, you're not focusing on what you like. You're focusing on what they might like.
And that's not arrogant.
Focusing on yourself.
Yeah. We're
I mean,
selfish.
how can you engage in a partnership if you don't really know yourself?
Yeah.
How can you truly be known or truly know someone if you don't know yourself?
I mean, I want to poke you with that one, but I mean,
That's the first question you might want to hold off on that.
I have no argument with that one. I have no argument with that one.
All right, next question.
Did you want to pick one?
I picked
Imagine
this.
that you want to pick one. You want to pick another one. It's the question I'm going to ask. You get
Why
all,
don't you pick that one?
I got to pick this one.
I'll pick it because I picked the last one.
This is a short program.
Okay, you read it.
I'll read it. You get to speak first. Because we aren't going through all of these today.
Okay.
Oh, this one just says the statement, there aren't any good people out there.
Okay, that's a statement, not a question.
It is a statement, not a question. So I said the statement. What is your feelings on that?
I think there are definitely good people out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if the person that wrote that, like,
Uh-huh.
you're out there, I would imagine that you're a good person, whoever,
Yeah.
whoever wrote that.
No, I wrote it, but I wrote it because we hear certain things and people are asking us certain questions and things of that nature.
Yeah.
We had and we did our group a little while ago, and that was a comment that came up in the group. There aren't any good people out there. Then of course
I would like
most
to
of the
report
group,
that there are good people out there.
there are good people out there. People in the group have found themselves good
Very high
people.
success rate.
Right. So I mean, they're good. Wait a minute, my answer or your answer?
I think we're both just answering at the same time.
It's a conversation, isn't it? So I think I think oftentimes the statement is used and it's used. I think it's used in a limited view. It's used because the lens and the area. Horse blinders. Let's use that as an example. I think people are looking through horse blinders, and you've gone through this process. You're trying to find people. And then people get on, they go through an app or they're looking at wherever their life is. And they just look in that window of space. And when they look in that window of space, they're like, there aren't any good people out there. And they haven't expanded beyond that window of space. And because of that, you feel as though there aren't good people out there. You start to believe there aren't good people out there. And then you manifest that there aren't good people for you out there. When there are people out there, like I was out there, I do consider myself a good person. I do try to be the best husband and man I can be for you. I think oftentimes you can admit that I am more stressed and upset about my stuff and failures and wrongdoings before you even point them out. And then when you do point them out, I get mad about the fact that you saw that failure or wrongdoing. And then you're like, are you mad at me? And it's like, no, I'm mad at myself. And then when you find one I didn't know about, then I get even more upset. But it's like, blind spot, dang it. But
It's a shadow saying.
yeah, but there is that thing where I believe because we only think of our vision and what we see in our vision and our eyesight that people will say that there aren't good people out there when there are. And then there's also that thing of expectation. Like, what do you define as good? Like, for me, the definition of my perfect woman included faults. Because otherwise I won't be able to find the perfect woman. Those faults are some that you have.
Just wondering how this is going to come out. I was like, how that's going to come out at that moment.
I held back. No, but but if you got this visual of this good guy or this good woman or this good person, and it's very strictly limited, not only in the physical vision of what you see and where you look, but in the, I guess, would that be figurative or mental vision of what you expect for this person to look like and how they look, then you're not going to be able to find that good because you've restrained it so much that there's no flexibility. And I don't mean giving up, I don't mean removing expectations or having a certain level of expectations. I just mean putting a heavy amount of restrictions on what defines good versus bad.
So I'm going to answer that a little differently.
Go ahead.
If you are not focused on yourself and what you want and what you need. And we know there's a difference between needs and wants, even when looking for a partner. If you don't know who you are authentically at the core of who you are and what you're worth, you are going to keep looking for the same person. And so you keep picking the same wrong person over and over and over. You think it's a different person. And it is a different person.
It's a different physical person, but
a different
overall
physical
it's a different person.
Yeah, so
It's the
you
same person.
think that like everyone out there is just like this.
Yeah.
But you're not considering other things. Like how many times when we go over like in our group, like excuse me, what are the list of things that you want, and then we go over the list of like what are the things that you need.
Right.
And sometimes what you need isn't always what you want.
Right.
Like I know I need a partner who does not let me like run over them, or who does not say yes to me all the time. Do I like someone that tells me no?
So you love him. You're fighting all the way, which
Like
is
someone
ugly.
that tells me no. But I know in life I need someone that tells me no.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are not focusing on yourself first, you're going to keep picking the same person over and over.
Yeah.
You know? And so then you think that like, no, there aren't any good people out there, but you're not considering someone that might not like look or have the job or be into the things that you think you want
Right.
your partner to be into.
Right.
Like how many times have we heard like, oh, I want them to be like X amount height, this
Yep.
color hair, you know, be into these things,
Yep.
like these hobbies. And sometimes it's like, you're not even into those.
Right.
things.
Right.
You know?
Those are all external and they all sound great, but
Right. Those
you,
are all
you
things
have
that shift
no
too.
right.
We're all looking for measurable things.
And the thing is, that person can have the crappiest, most terrible attitude, but they are 6'2", and they are into sports or something, or
Right.
music or whatever. But if the attitude is crappy and they don't want to mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually be there with you, then what's the point of having all those regulations and rules for it?
Right. People's lists often are comprised of things that are measurable. Like I said, like hair color, height, weight, income.
Yeah.
You know, where are they at in life? Do they own a home? You know, do they have kids, previous marriages? All those things are measurable.
Yeah.
We're not thinking like, are they kind? Are they trustworthy? Are they, gentle?
But if they're immeasurable, then one, how do you measure it? Which is a terrible way to say it, but like, how do you quantify the level of this thing that this person has if it matches what you want or need, if it's an immeasurable thing? And two, how do you make sure that what you're not doing is giving this person grace or this extra length just because you really want to be in a relationship with somebody, but you're like, well, they're kind enough. You don't have a measurement for kind. You don't have a measurement for they spend time with me as you do for 6'2" and earns this much money.
I think a lot of it and what we do in our group is teaching people to date differently and turning inward first. Like, how do I like myself when I'm with this person? How do I feel when I'm with this person? One thing that we say is like, ask your friends instead of like when you introduce them to your friends, like instead of like, how do you like them or what do you think of them? Ask them like, what do you think of me when I'm with them?
Yeah.
How am I around them? Because your friends know you, your friends don't know them.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's tuning into like what your body's experiencing also.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had this, I like bookmarked a quote or something that I saw. I'll have to find it later. It's like when you're like your gut and your mind and everything line up to like, yes, this is the person for me. And I think like a lot of times that's a feeling of safety.
Okay.
And a lot of like when you aren't feeling that or when you're questioning like, how do I know that this is the one?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, maybe if you're questioning that, we need to go back a couple steps.
To see where that came from in the first place.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
back to the gut and what else aligns?
I'm going to butcher it, so I don't want to.
Because I was about to ask, how does that feel? Like, what do you mean, like, the gut and everything?
Like, you know how, like, when you're in a space and you're like, ooh, this feels uneasy.
Yeah.
Or that inner questioning.
Okay.
The inner
So
questioning.
if at any
sometimes it
point
comes
you're just
across
like,
as, Well, sometimes like you hear like, and especially women
Yeah.
say, I'm like worried that they're cheating or that like worried or paranoid or anxious or those things.
Yeah. I mean, I think dudes feel it also. They might not voice it the same way.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, dudes feel it also. They just don't voice it the same way.
Yeah, I do voice it.
First part, sometimes dudes don't. They just start avoiding a situation overall.
That's true.
Like if you're supposed to be at a date or hanging out, with your partner or something, and all of a sudden you're at the bar with the boys for no good reason. And they're like, "Weren't you supposed to be with such and such tonight?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we had to change of plans." You ducked out. Like he ducked out. He was feeling uneasy. He didn't know what to do about it. Didn't want to necessarily be in an uneasy situation. So yes, that level of avoidance. And that's not to say all dudes do that. There are definitely a group of guys who will jump in and have a conversation, or who will stay there and try to figure it out, or who will stay there and be quiet at times.
Oh, we know some amazing men that
Yeah.
are doing it, and I don't think it matters like what your orientation is either.
Yeah. No.
Like,
By
we
no
know
means.
some, yeah.
By no means. Because I think that really goes back to, and I think there's been a growth of what's happening now with men in America. I don't know about anywhere else, but in America, where I think men are starting to explore a little bit more and be a little more comfortable with that emotion thing. But there's still definitely a lack of, even if you're aware of the emotion, feeling as though there's a safe place to communicate the emotion. And then if there is a safe place to communicate the emotion, then there's that feeling of, how do I? Because I don't know if I have the words. But saying something like, I want to be vulnerable, for a male is still something that's a little bit difficult, because vulnerable is the equivalent of weak, And
That's what like society still supposed to be on the
Yeah.
vulnerability.
that's not the case,
Free.
but that's what society tells us. And because men are just starting to evolve, men are starting to outwardly evolve. I should say that, because I think men have evolved emotions, and I think this is a personal feeling that I have with way people and men are expressed. That concept like men are chess and men are easy. I mean, men are checkers and men are easy. I think that's a ridiculous lie. Like, I think that's a ridiculous lie. I think that's a ridiculous oversimplification. I know that men have the level of emotional struggle, the level of emotional versatility and width and span that women have. And I think that for far too long, there was the outwardly requirement that men keep their emotional feelings within this certain narrow stream. And as we've gotten into this world where it starts to
right.
men don't cry, real men don't cry. Y'all, I cry in movies. But as we've gotten to this space where like the spectrum of men's emotions is beginning to be allowed to be wider, there's still a steep learning curve of how do you express that and who do you express that to, because we haven't been taught those words. We haven't been given those words, and we've seen those words from our mothers and stuff. But that's generally been from our mother and generally been from female examples of being able to express yourself. I think one of the reasons I am more emotionally open to express myself is because I had a father who didn't care and would express himself. He hugged and kissed and everything with that man will break people's backs when he hugged them. Like, he went in with the full love,
People say that about you.
And people say that about me, because if I'm going to hug you, I'm going to give you a hug. If I'm not hugging you, it's because I don't want to. If I am hugging you, because I do want to give you a hug. Like, it's genuine. Now, I was going down this road on the level of good man and good women and that good people out there. And I don't know how I went down on this tangent or where I am. So, if you want to cut in, feel free.
Like I said,
I can give you a soft segue and bring it back. But
I still think it's the idea that like if we're not focusing on ourselves and our stuff, we're going to keep picking the same wrong person.
Yeah.
Different person, same aura, same concept,
Right.
same issues.
Right, same spirit.
Maybe slightly different, but
Yeah.
we're going to keep picking the same person.
Yeah. I do like what you said about, yes, you can have wants, you can have needs, but they don't move them away from like the immeasurable things.
Right.
For me, I know post-divorce and like I'm not doing a relationship like this again. And I want a relationship where I feel like I'm valued and loved, and the person sees me. And then there's the question of what's on your list. What do you want?
Mhm.
And for me, I had shortened it out to like faith, fit, and fun. That's it. And faith being like they needed to be in the spiritual grounding that I had. They have to have fitness, and fitness not being like you gotta be bold or you gotta pop out the muscle. But if we want to walk, or if we want to do exercise, if we want to do something that's active, I'm not dragging you around for that.
Right.
And then fun being like I want to laugh and have moments of laughter and just enjoy life, even when life is a struggle. And those things weren't necessarily measurables for me, but there were things that I measured with this process. I got them all, I got them all because I made the list something. I got them all because I made the list.
Yeah.
My definition of good was something that was attainable, but also matched who I was internally.
Yeah, because you didn't have on the list like these super measurable things,
No, no,
and you weren't stuck to that list.
no.
Like you weren't approaching it like, oh, she's over 5'5", so
Right.
no, or she didn't have blonde hair, or
Right.
anything like
Which we
that.
both said is complete opposite way because both of us weren't looking for us. But you were saying you're looking for a Latino man.
I
I was
didn't
looking for a
say
Latino
that.
woman.
I did not say that.
Yeah, you did. You said brown.
You're
You
brown.
said I'm darker than you were expecting. I'm also shorter than you were expecting.
It's because you spent a lot of time at the pool. No, you're shorter than I would prefer. But that's not a. It's not a. What do you call it?
Deal breaker.
Yeah,
Yeah, deal breaker.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also, maybe it's not that you're short. Maybe it's that I'm too tall.
It could be that.
Right.
I don't care. Still put on them heels, girl. Put on them heels.
We're getting away from the topic. So
I'm
choose the
having
next
good
one.
thoughts right now. But yeah. But
However you do that.
you're like, cut. But yeah. So yeah, I didn't want to go through 30 of these today. I just wanted to talk
Let's
to you
just
one or two.
choose one more.
You want to do one more?
Yeah.
All right. One more it is.
You gonna pick the last one?
I just picked that
No,
second
you
one.
didn't. I did.
I picked it. You read it.
I picked it. You read it. Watch.
I
Roll the tape.
I think you're wrong on that.
I picked it. You read it.
I might have to put a caption on the end of this if you're right, though.
And we'll wait for the caption.
All right, the question.
When you find it, I want you to put one of those like ting, like
Just a little sound effect on it.
Yeah.
What do many people get wrong about their partner?
What do you mean by that?
That's a good question. That question was written days ago, so what do I mean about that? I think it's the idea that you're with somebody and you're starting to make assumptions about who they are or what they're doing. And there are so many different ways, because it could be like, what do you get wrong about a partner that you're already in a relationship with? What do you get wrong about the partner that you're not in a relationship with and you're choosing somebody?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that in a bit of a different way.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think it's a what, but maybe a why.
Ooh, okay.
So what is it that you get wrong about your partner? Could be many different things.
Okay.
I think the better question is like, why do you get it wrong? And I think a lot of that is like we fill in the blanks with our own narrative, with our own story.
I like that.
So instead of, I think it was like Brene Brown who was like, this is the story I'm telling myself. What story are you telling yourself about the situation?
Yeah.
Right? And so once we start talking and communicating about that stuff, because like we fill in the blanks with our own narrative,
Mm-hmm.
which is from our own history and our own perspective, and your mate is most of the time quite opposite of who you are,
Right.
right? And they have their own history with their own narrative and their own perceptions, and they're filling in the blanks with theirs, their own, right? And you're filling in the blanks with your own, and then you're proceeding based on those assumptions.
Yeah.
But if you share what those assumptions are, then your partner has the opportunity to sort of like, oh no, that's not what was going on at all. So here's one from us,
Yeah.
right? The dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher. You know that for me, the kitchen is an area of anxiety. If the kitchen is not tidy and messy, I feel anxious. I feel anxiety. So when I walk in the house after a long day, like I want the kitchen to be clean.
Yeah.
Right. That comes from my childhood where like we ate and then all of us kids like clean up the kitchen and we always went to bed with a clean kitchen. Like, you don't wake up with a dirty kitchen. Right. And it was also like an open concept. So if you saw it messy, everything just felt messy, like the house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Right. You've been there now.
Yeah.
Still the kitchen is tidy.
Yeah.
After a meal. Or maybe just periodically through the day.
Right.
Right. So when it came to like the dishwasher, I was like, why is no one unloading the dishwasher? Is he just waiting me out to see if I'm going to unload the dishwasher? Is he like, what is like, oh, like, well, okay, then like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
You know, is he just like stacking the dishes up in the sink because he's waiting me out? Like he thinks it's my responsibility or my role or my job to empty the dishwasher.
Yeah.
You know, and then finally when I think I said something, right?
Yeah.
You were like, I just hate unloading the dishwasher, so I just avoid it because I hate doing it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it had nothing to do with you. I was trying to wait you out or
Yeah,
kick it
so my
off you.
story was, this was trying to wait me. Well, alrighty then, it's go time.
Right, yeah, you were fighting, right?
Yeah. And so then we devised, okay, like, well, then I'll unload it. And you, which is this is something we generally sometimes have a little issue about.
Mhm.
If the dishwasher is dirty or empty, don't put them in the sink. Just put it in the dishwasher, right? That doesn't need to soak, so stop saying that. Like, just.
I held it back. I was about to say it right then. I was just about to say it. I was like, no, just hold it.
Yeah. So I could sit there and keep getting like resentful
Yeah,
about it based
Yeah.
on my own story,
yeah,
or I could just talk to you
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Now, have we talked many times about your protein shake cup sitting right underneath the faucet? Yes, we
I
have.
contend that one doesn't need to be.
Is that a work in progress? That's fine. Let it soak. Just move it away from the faucet so other people can rinse their stuff and put it in the dishwasher.
I want to make sure the powder doesn't dry out.
There's no
But
point
yes.
there. Stop the nonsense. Stop this madness. Just move it.
Let's see. The problem is I asked for all that too. So, because remember when we were dating, one of the first
Yes.
things I said, going back to how things feed into each other, when we were dating, I said, "Don't make me guess."
Oh, I said I won't.
Yeah.
Make you. Yeah.
But and remember I said it. I was like, and I said it several times because talk about how past things are brought into the future. That was one of the things in the previous relationship where something would be brought up 5 or 6 or 7 years down the line, and you're like, that was completely misunderstood. But now we have 5 or 6 or 7 years.
And it's like the old
Resentment,
Tetris game,
yeah.
where it just like starts
It's just-
spilling faster and faster
Right,
and faster.
right.
If you have a gap, like not talking about that has created this gap.
Yep.
there.
And it's
Right,
not like
and
you
then
can get
over
that
here,
magic
and then
piece that all of a
over
sudden fits in there and it cuts out all the gaps. It doesn't it?
Right, and then all this other stuff goes disappears. Remember?
It's like that thing when people they try not to talk about something bad, and they imagine if they just hold off not talking about it, like it's going to get better.
I hear this a lot.
But it never
in my
gets
office.
better.
Well, I don't want to bring it up because things were going well, so I don't want to bring it up.
How well were they going?
Like that going
Like-
well is just a perceived going well because there's
Right.
still this underlying thing that's like not.
It's always
Well.
there, and it's always stacking up on top. Like you use Tetris or they use a snowball or whatever. It's like it's always stacking up on top. So yeah, you might not see it, and it might be covered up. That's not the equivalent of being well or being good.
Well, ignoring that you have a broken leg does not mean that your leg is not broken.
Yeah.
Not going to the doctor doesn't mean that you're not sick.
Right. So then we get things wrong because we flat out just don't bring them up.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about them. So I think it's more the why, not the what.
I like that exchange. I'll take that flip of the question. That gets a little deeper. It's better. It's
Okay.
better. Yeah, the what might have been items, but the why actually lets you get to the root cause of it, which is
Yeah,
more
I mean,
important.
the what could be.
Everything
Yeah.
and anything. Cool.
So don't avoid difficult conversations. What's the phrase like? Don't exchange temporary discomfort for long-term dysfunction.
Mm. Okay.
So if you're gonna, well, I don't want to bring it up because it was like things were well. We were having a good day, so I didn't want to bring it up. And I'm like, perhaps that's the absolute best time to bring it up when you are having a good day. Right?
You're in a good mood. You're having a conversation. Right.
Right. So the idea of like, don't. So I didn't want to be uncomfortable in that moment.
Yeah.
So in that moment, what you did is you traded short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction.
Right.
And if you keep doing it, it will definitely be long-term dysfunction.
Yeah. Because there is no, I'm going back to do it, or there is no, I wish I could do that differently. It's,
Or what happens is you wait until it just builds in, like the pressure builds and you just blow up.
which isn't helpful.
No.
Definitely not.
And then all the things that you've been keeping inside just come bubbling over.
So then we got to work on ourselves so we can find who we want. Be able to
Our authentic self.
Yeah, our authentic self. And spend some time with our authentic self. Like there's no need to rush through that either. Like,
No, I mean that's where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna learn to be like the happiest damn single person I've ever met.
yeah.
Was I happy when we met?
I don't think the way you worded that question. Was I happy when we met? Almost like,
No, I feel like
am I still happy now?
no. Like, think of how it's like, how's the dating world? Oh, it sucks. It's awful.
No, you were happy. Like, I still have the recording from your first voicemail.
Yes, after 8 years.
After 8 years, and it was just, and it's because when it's the epitome of you. It was happy. It was bright sounding. You were slightly snarky in it, not in a bad way, but you were just poking at me. Quippy. That's the word I'm looking for. So you were quippy in it, and it was just a representation of like who you were. And like when we talked, when we finally got on the phone and got a chance to have a conversation, when we finally met each other in person, it aligned. It aligned. Yeah. So yeah, you are. I hope a happy person. And I think one of the things that I say to you that I think is the best way I can say I love you is the fact that I don't need you, but I choose you. And I know you believe the same with me. So when we met each other, we were two individuals living fully individual lives who could have lived our fully individual lives and been able to live happy individual lives. Like I don't complete you; I'm just a part of your world. And you don't complete me; you're a part of my world. And so we choose that daily. We choose that often. Yeah.
And I, at that point too, like I had made a conscious decision that I was going to approach dating differently than what I had in the past.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah. But we'll get to approaching dating differently in the next one.